afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are here for the March 2016, is it really March? Because it sure doesn't feel like it, Worldox Virtual User Group Meeting, which we are just calling the Worldox Virtual User Group Meeting for lack of a better, longer title. Today, we are talking about searching. I'm going to talk about searching and some advanced techniques that you can use to zero in on the document that you are trying to find. And Mary Jo is going to talk about using quick and creating quick profiles to make it easy and quick to put things away when it's for somebody that you're profiling a lot of stuff for. So that should help you save a little bit of time there, and I'll save you a little bit of time finding things. Without any further ado, I will press the magic buttons. Now, before I press the magic buttons, I've just realized that I have not given Mary Jo keyboard and mouse. And if you've ever attended one of these before, you'll know that's kind of a sore spot with Mary Jo. So bear with me for a second here.
You were doing so good today. He remembered for the two prior meetings, but now this one he's forgotten.
Well, now you've got it, Mary Jo. So just bear with me for a second and let me hit the escape and file and X, and we'll get out of here and we won't save, and we'll pull up Worldox and we will let Mary Jo talk all about quick profiles.
Okay, so if you're ever profiling documents or even getting into Worldox and changing profiles or adding whatever it is, we want to be able to put those documents away as quickly as possible. And, you know, for me, I don't want to have to sit there and every single time fill out that profile card every time. For the same client, I'm saving these emails or I'm saving these things to all the time. So what I want to do is show you how to create a quick profile and have it available, and then all you have to do is click on that and choose the quick profile that you want to save, and it fills it out for you. So first, I'm just going to take an existing document that we've already got in here. I really don't care what it is as long as it's something that has already been saved. And oops, I really don't want to open the email. Sorry about that, Paul. I'm not sure what that was. I'm getting top secret emails and information out there. So anyway, I've just highlighted on a document, and I'm going to get into the edit profile screen with this little pencil and paper. And to get into a quick profile, there's this little button over here on the left, and it just says quick profiles. And if I click on that, it brings up this little box of all of these different quick profiles that I can create. Now, right now, I don't have very many. If I open up this little client files, I really don't even have any quick profiles. This isn't even mine, this is Paul's. So he must not create very many quick profiles in this area. But I have this little ad, and if I want to add one, whether it's in the email cabinet or my client cabinet, it doesn't matter. As long as I click on this quick profile over here and click on the add button, it brings up a screen so that I can kind of pre-fill everything that I want to be for a certain client. So I'm going to choose clients here. I'm not going to worry about what document I was on. I really just wanted to get to that screen to show you how you can add. You can do that from any document you already have, or if you're saving a document, you can also do that from there. So I'm going to just create one for a client. So I'll go over to client files. I'm going to choose that cabinet. These are all the things I want to be that default on here. So I'm going to browse my client table. I'll choose Attorney Computer Systems. We have one out there for that.
Purdue Law. We like Purdue Law.
You want Purdue Law instead? All right. We'll do Purdue Law. So here's Purdue Law Office, and it's going to be Matter 00. Maybe the type of document I'm saving all the time is email, so I can even default the doc type to be email. I can always change it to something else if I want to. If I choose the quick profile, maybe for this one document I'm saving, it's not an email, but all the other stuff is the same. I could just go ahead and just change the doc type then. And then I can just have it default to, I think I'm in Paul, so I'm just going to default to him, and the typist will be Paul as well. So I filled out this card in my quick profile. I didn't give it a description because when I save a document, it will have that description in there for me already, or I can change it at that time. I'm just going to leave that blank. So here's a quick profile for Purdue Law with all of this information filled out for email, and I'll say OK. I can give it a name, and I can also make it the default if I want. So if that's a client I'm always saving to, I could make it my default. I probably wouldn't do that. I probably would leave my clients blank for the default. But I can give this one a quick profile name of Purdue Law. You can name this whatever makes sense to you. And I'm going to create it for only me. Now, I can see everyone over here because I'm a manager. And actually, I'm logged in as Paul, but Paul's a manager as well. If I wasn't a manager and didn't have rights for that, I would only ever see only me. I wouldn't be able to change and add quick profiles for anyone else. but I could if I'm a manager. So I might want to create a global quick profile for everyone, and I can say that it's for everyone, and that will show up over in their side over here anytime that they come in. So right now, I'm just going to do one for just me, for Purdue Law, and say OK. Now I've got this little quick profile over there for Purdue Law. And if I click on it, I'm just going to double click on it. Oops, I lost it. Hold on. Let me get back in there. Let me edit that profile. And if I go to my quick profiles, I can choose that Purdue Law. And there's all of my information that it's asking, do I want to save that? And then I can just go ahead and paste it in. I don't want to do this because I don't know what document. Are you sure? I don't know where I am.
Yeah, paste it in.
Okay, I don't want to mess anything up.
But don't hit update.
Okay, there we go. So it's changed my profile for that particular document to be all of the things that I pre-filled for Purdue Law. At that time, I could change the doc type if I wanted to, or I could have just left the doc type blank. And then every time I save a document to Purdue Law, I could make it whatever doc type I want. So I have a lot of capabilities here in saving parameters to save documents quickly. And I can create as many of these quick profiles as I want. So if I have my top 10 clients that I'm working in all the time, they'd be right here on my list. All I'd have to do when I save a document is come in and click on it. It automatically fills that in, and I would put it in. Now, I've chosen an existing document, so that's why I have the update. But let me show you if I come out of here. I'm just going to go into Word real quick and create a test document to save. And I'll just save that to Worldox. And I'm going to get the blank profile screen that comes up here. But look, the quick profiles is still over here on the left, and Purdue is still there. So I can click that and say, double click it, I guess, and there we go. There is my things all filled out with my check marks. Say paste, and now I've got everything in there, and I can put in whatever doc type that I want.
Very cool.
Then I would just save it, and my document is saved with all of that information as I've profiled over here. So much faster, much easier. Quick profiles can just get you there without having to fill in every single field. And if you're like me, I don't want to be filling out all those little fields every single time I save a document.
Obviously, you don't create a quick profile for every client, Mary Jo.
No, just the ones I'm in all the time.
Clients that you want those.
And then you can also delete them. So if I get done with a quick, so let's say I work on this client for a couple weeks, and then I'm not in it hardly at all, and I don't really need that quick profile. You notice that list is going to get kind of big. I mean, I could have a great big long list of all these quick profiles if I wanted that are over here. But if I want to get rid of those can also be modified, and we can get rid of that. You don't have to keep them over there as a quick profile if you're not using them anymore. So as your client base changes, yeah, we can just get rid of those. So okay, Paul?
Awesome. Well, that saves you time getting stuff put away. I'm going to show you how to save a little bit of time finding things. Now, everyone, of course, knows that if you want to go to Purdue Law as quickly as possible, you go into Direct Access, or you maybe even have a bookmark that takes you straight to Purdue Law. I guess I do, come to think of it. If I go up here, I have Purdue Law right there. And so that's a good quick way to get to all the documents for Purdue Law. The problem is I am now looking at, let's see, 680 documents. And if I want to find something very specific within Purdue Law, or maybe I don't even know that it's in Purdue Law, but I know that it has a certain word in the title or a certain word in the text, or maybe I want to see all the pleadings that Rob created last Tuesday, there's a way to do that. And so we're going to get a little bit into search, which is right here. If you click on this, what I call the big binoculars, the ones that say find or search underneath them, unless you've changed the wording of your button bar. And that takes you, ultimately it will take you to a screen of fields, but first, if you've got some search templates set up, which a lot of our clients do, you'll be able to choose among those search templates. We have them for clients in email and office, which are 3 cabinets or profile groups that we put documents away in. So I'm going to go to client, and I'm going to say I want to search the client cabinet for Purdue Law. Now I can do the same thing here. In fact, I probably already have Purdue Law, and I can probably already select matter 00 for them. This is the same as doing direct access, okay? Except that it's going through the search feature rather than direct access feature, and I have the same functionality. But what if I wanted all the documents in Purdue Law that have the word pickle somewhere within the text of the document? I can do that because I have access to all these fields, not just these two. So I can search, and I'm not going to find anything with the word pickle in Purdue Law, but if I modify my last active search and take out the Purdue Law and say, I don't care whether it's in Purdue Law or somebody else, I'm looking for documents that have the word pickle, I now find 61 documents. Did you know we had so many emails with the word pickle in them, Mary Jo? I did. I guess we had a client who was in a pickle, and so she described that, and there were a lot of emails that went back and forth. But nonetheless, here's the word pickle. Now let's go back and search again. Now when you hit find again, it says, do you want to start a new search, which would give me a whole complete blank slate, or modify my last active search, which takes me back to exactly what I searched for before, which was pickle. So let's search for a different word. Let's search for amendment. I hope I'm spelling that right. Maybe not, and amendment may not be a good one. Let's search for, no, okay, I didn't. Everyone is shouting out that, Paul, you did not spell that right. So let's search for it this way and see what we find. Okay, now we have a bunch of documents that have the word amendment in them. And I bring you here because I know that pickle was only found one time in each of those emails. I know that because I did some studying. And I know that amendment's going to be found a couple times in some documents. So one thing I want you to understand is that when you open up this view pane, in which you can then move over a little bit to give you some more room, you will be able to see and move back and forth between the hits of the word amendment here by using these buttons, but you also see a contextual representation of each hit of the word amendment in line with your results. So what this is telling me is that here's the text that was around the single occurrence of the word amendment in this document, and here's how it shows up. What this is telling me here is that there were 5 hits of the word amendment in this particular document. We are currently looking at the first one, and here's the words around it. But if we hit this down arrow, here's the next one, second of 5. Hit it again, here's the third of 5, and here's the words around that. Here's another one, and here's the words around that. Let's go back to 3. I think this is the document I want. That is a very streamlined way to find the particular document that had the word amendment in it and get to it before you even opened it up. Very cool. Now, one of the keys of this sort of searching is you don't search for words like amendment, because if you're in a law practice, you're probably going to have more documents than I do that have the word amendment in them. You need to be searching for words that are unique. And sometimes that uniqueness can be zeroed in on using some more advanced techniques that I'm about to touch on. But if you are looking for a document that has to do with a special easement that was required because the house that you were representing the sale of happened to be on Burgess Lane, then you wouldn't search for the word easement. You'd search for the word Burgess, because Burgess is much more unique than the word easement. But you could also search for the word easement within so many words of the word Burgess. So let's look at that. So I'm going to go back in, and we're going to look for Burgess and easement. So I'm going to click on Find. I'm going to start a new search. I'm going to go to Clients, and we're looking for Burgess and easement. And I don't care if it's not spelled right. That's just how it is. Now, I can search for Burgess and easement. I can search for Burgess or easement. And I can search for Burgess and not the word easement. In other words, I want to find any document that has the word Burgess but does not specifically have the word easement. But I can't use these words anymore in GX4. I have to use ampersand to represent and. I have to use what's called a piping symbol to represent or. It's a straight up and down line. See it there? I'm going to move my cursor out of the way so you can see what the piping symbol looks like. And I have to use the exclamation point for not. So that means Burgess, not easement. Okay? Very cool. So I can now say Burgess and easement, and I will only find those documents that have both the word Burgess and the word easement. I can even say I want Burgess within 20 words, within 20, there we go, W/20, of easement. And what that means is I'm specifically saying Burgess has to appear in a document along with the word easement, and both of them have to be no farther than 20 words apart. Now, something that is people don't know and they need to know here is when I say Burgess and easement, Worldox makes an assumption that I don't think it makes clear. It makes an assumption that these words are going to be close to each other, and I think it's 10 words. So if you want to find any document that has Burgess or easement, Burgess and easement, and it doesn't matter if they're hundreds of words apart, you have to put in some sort of fake separation of words, or else you're not going to find it. If it was 200 words apart, and you just said Burgess and easement, it wouldn't find it because Worldox assumes some sort of close proximity. I don't know whether it's 10 or 12 or 20 or 15 words, but Worldox makes this random assumption of them being pretty close to each other. And unless you come up with some huge number of words that they can be apart, you're not going to find it unless they are in that close proximity. Some say this is good. I don't think it is because it's not really something that a lot of people know. Now, if I want to say Burgess or easement, that'll find any document that has either the word easement or the word Burgess. What's important to know about this piping symbol, it's on the same key as a backslash. And the backslash is the one that starts in the upper left-hand corner and stops in the lower right-hand corner. So it's a shifted backslash. It looks like a straight up and down line. On some keyboards, it actually looks like kind of a stretched colon, and that's a weird thing to say, but we won't go there. It looks like a stretched. It looks like a horizontal, vertically stretched two dots. The key will put a bit of space in between, even though there isn't any. So be careful of that. That is the piping symbol. If you have any question, try the one that looks a little funny, and if it comes out like this as a straight up and down line, then you're fine. You've got the right thing. Okay. Now, it's important also to know that if you're looking for something like bill or billing or billows, or you want any of those, you can use the asterisk after the BILL. So what this tells search is search for any word that begins with the letters BILL, and we don't care what the rest of the word is. Okay? So an asterisk tells it to extend and find anything as long as it starts with whatever characters are to the left of the asterisk. And one more thing I want to get in there while I still have time is that if I was looking for Purdue, but I have a client named Purdue and I also do work for Purdue University, that's where not comes in. Purdue, not University. That would find any occurrence of the word Purdue in a document that does not also have the word university. So that's going to zero in on things that are like Paul Purdue or Bill Purdue or Dave Purdue, but not Purdue University. Okay. Now, one more thing. What if I wanted to find Purdue but not University, or Indiana but not University? In other words, I'm looking for any document that has either Indiana or Purdue in it, but I don't want Indiana University and I don't want Purdue University. Now I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to bring it out and put it into Notepad. Oops, I need to just go over here, pull up Notepad. And what I'm dealing with here is a situation where I've got a bunch of different operators. I've got an or here, I'm sorry, a not there, and this should be a piping symbol instead of an or. There we go. I've got a not here, which is an exclamation point. I've got a not here, which is an exclamation point, and I've got an or here. Until I put in some parentheses, Worldox won't know how to parse that. So what I'm really telling it is, I want you to find either Indiana and not university, or Purdue and not university. And until I put these parentheses in around these two things to separate the or, I'm not going to really be saying that right. Now, what that means is it's a lot like math. If you have 4 plus 2 divided by 7 times 3 minus 13 plus 4, without the parentheses that indicate what you should be doing first, and without a thorough understanding of the hierarchical order of which operations get performed first in math, you don't really know what the answer is here. It's kind of the same thing. Let's say we wanted to take the 13 plus 4 and have it operated on first, and we wanted it to come up, it was really 4 plus 2 divided by 7, not 4 plus 2 divided by 7. These parentheses are very important here, just like they're important here. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with before your head explodes is that if you're looking at this and saying, wow, I don't really understand that, it's much more important to understand that it can be done, that you could find Purdue but not university and Indiana but not university in the same document, or just either or in the same document using the or the and or whatever. It's more important to know that you can do this than it is to fully understand how to do it, because there are a lot of people who can tell you how to do this. I can tell you how to do this. Mary Jo can tell you how to do this. There are probably people at your firm that understand it enough to tell you how to do it, even if you don't fully grasp what I'm saying here. So it's more important to understand that this is a possibility than it is to understand the exact syntax of how to do it. So don't let this freak you out. Just know that if you get to something that you really want to do that's very complex and you don't know quite how to structure it, at least you know that it can be done, and you can go get some help finding the syntax to make it happen. And that's all I got. That is advanced search techniques within Worldox. There's more, but this is the basics that I like to show people in an introduction to advanced search techniques. And this gets into some very, very powerful stuff within Worldox. Be sure to know that if you go to attorneycomputersystems.com with an emphasis on the S at the end of systems, that we have all of our videos on this website. That you can drop down the drop box under videos and go to our tabs 3 or our practice master or our Worldox virtual user group meetings, which we like to call the water cooler. You can go to our Coffee Pot webinar section. You can go to our eBytes video series section or our Paul and Mary Jo show section. Now, these first 4 things, the 3 virtual user groups and the Coffee Pot webinars, those are live events. And so if you click on one of them, like this Worldox virtual user group meeting, you will end up on a page that tells you all about the Worldox virtual user group, all about what the next subject of the next meeting is, which happens to be search templates. Mary Jo's, or I'm going to go a little further on defining those search templates. We saw them when we popped up the find box. It was client, email, how to set those up. And Mary Jo's going to go through the preview click settings, which help you to move through a list of files with the viewer open and determine which ones are going to pop up right away. You will also then, as you scroll down, find recorded versions of everything we've ever done. And we've been recording these Worldox and Tabs 3 and Practice Master virtual user group meetings, plus the Coffee Pot webinars for a long time. So you're going to find a lot of content there. So if it's a live event, you'll have registration information at the top. You will always have the recorded versions of everything we've done since we started recording years and years ago. And we also have our eBytes video series that Mary Jo records every month, one on Practice Master, one on Tabs, one on Worldox. Little short 3, 4, 5 minute snippets of very precise things, this one feature or how to do this one thing or this neat trick that we learned. And then we have our longer format Paul and Mary Jo show. There we take a broader topic and spend 10, 15, or 20 minutes on it. And these 2 things, the eBytes and the Paul and Mary Jo show, are pre-recorded. They are not live events, so you can't register for them, but there's plenty of content out there as well. So please take advantage of all this. And lots of videos to watch out there, lots of information, and we did it for you, so we want you to watch it. Everybody have a good rest of the day, good rest of the month, and we will talk to you in April. Thanks much. Bye-bye.